Hello, my name is Dr. Karen Willenbring, and I'm one of the integrative medicine physicians at On Point Integrative Medicine in Erie, Pennsylvania. And one of the things that we are now offering at our practice, in addition to integrative medicine office visits, is both my practice partner and I have been trained in coactive coaching. And so we are now offering coaching to people who are interested and are motivated for personal growth and change and transformation. And so we're doing a series of videos that just kind of highlight different aspects of coaching so that people can understand what the process might involve. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about today is how in coaching we use metaphors as powerful life insight generators. What does that mean? Our brain processes things in different ways. And so the left side of our brain is the side that is very logical and follows processes and patterns, etc. So it's that concrete part of our brain. The right side of our brain actually processes things more in symbols and in metaphors, images, and intuition. And so when we work in coaching, we like to work with both sides of the brain because that tends to result in better insights and deeper traction as you're trying to make changes in your life for the better. And so when we talk about metaphors as being, powerful life insight generators, what does that mean? Well, I thought I would just give you an example of a recent metaphor that happened for me in my own life. And hopefully that will give you an example of how we use metaphors in coaching. So here's a recent example. It was Memorial Day weekend and the weather was absolutely gorgeous. And I had Sunday and Monday in front of me with nothing on my schedule. And, you would think that would be a great scenario to have. 2 days, totally free, can do what I want. But I'll be honest, I was struggling a little bit with a mixture of just physical tiredness and emotional weariness. We have a new practice, and for me, I've been trying to boost the number of patients that are seeing me, and been trying a whole bunch of different ways to boost that. And despite my efforts, I'm not where I wanted to be. And so as I had these days ahead of me, I had a couple of choices. I could spend some time trying to be creative and figure out different ways to continue that boosting process. Or I could just completely disengage and throw some movies on and basically check out. Or I could go for a nice long bike ride, which for me is always renewing. And to be honest, all three of those, none of them had any appeal to me whatsoever. My energy level and my interior attitude just didn't quite feel up to any of them. But I knew I needed to break the cycle of kind of that physical, emotional, even spiritual weariness. So, in our integrative practice, we always say, move a muscle, move a thought, and you never regret a workout. So I did a little self-talk, and instead of biking my normal route here in Erie, I decided, okay, I'll look into some trails. I found a place about an hour away, and even though it took a lot of energy to make myself do this, I was committed to get out of this stuck place of kind of negativity and heaviness. And so here comes the beginning of the metaphor. So as I was driving out of Erie, I was heading towards Oil Creek Trail outside of Titusville, Pennsylvania. And after I just left the busyness of Erie, driving kind of down Country Highway, I felt something on my hand, my right hand. And as I looked down, there was this giant spider. I mean, it reminded me of a tarantula, okay? A little smaller, but it was huge, and the body was big, the legs were furry, and of course, in that moment, a million thoughts came to me all at once. And, some of those were like in a fraction of a second. I'm like, okay, there's no tarantulas in Erie. It's not a tarantula. What the heck kind of spider is this? It's not a brown recluse spider, because I know those have a little violin-shaped body and they're very small. My other thought was, oh my gosh, this is huge. And another thought was, Ron Weasley from Harry Potter would not be happy in this situation. I hope it doesn't bite me. So all of those thoughts, I mean, we're talking in a flash of a second. And so I immediately flung it off my hand onto the floor of the passenger side. So I'm now stuck in the situation where there's a very large spider in the same vehicle as I'm driving for my nice, relaxing bike ride. So my heart rate's up. I'm no longer sleepy or tired. And I was a bit tense, I couldn't see it. I thought, okay, it has the whole car to roam in. Certainly it's not going to come back to bother me. But of course, I'm hyper alert. About 10 miles later, again, pretty tense ride. The spider comes out and starts to walk across the dashboard. So I turn the fan on and it walks back to the other side by the passenger side. So it now has hidden itself, kind of, in the crack of the glove compartment box. But its legs are sticking out and I can see it, obviously, right there in my peripheral vision. So here I am with this creepy spider, and I still have another 30-minute drive. And I'm one of those people as a child that, I would rescue moths and bugs and spiders in the house by putting a cup over it and sliding a piece of paper and then taking it outside and letting it free. So for me, smashing the spider probably wasn't going to be effective, because I could see myself flinch back and then the spider would be loose. And I didn't want to cause an accident, etc. So again, as I'm driving, my eyes are constantly at that spot of the glove box with the spider with its legs sticking out. As I'm in this very tense drive, always with my eye on that spider, finally it creeps out and starts to walk a little bit towards me. And I had decided if I ever saw it move, I was going to pull over, which I did. And I was able to sweep that spider into a bag that I set on the floor and close it up. And I put something heavy on top of it so that it wouldn't get away. And I was able to drive the rest of my drive to the bike trail. So I get to the bike trail, I take this bag with the spider in, I throw it in a trash can, making sure it's open so the spider can escape. I still have that childhood, rescue the little critters type of thought process that's deeply ingrained in me. And so now I have the freedom of my bike ride. So I hop on the bike and I'm riding this beautiful trail along Oil Creek. And that's when the metaphor really started to take hold for me. As I'm enjoying the scenery, I was recalling, oh my gosh, I drove the entire way with my attention on that creepy spider, while still trying to drive and still trying to be safe. And I thought, gosh, in my life, what is that spider? What is it that keeps grabbing my attention, draining my energy, and distracting me from living my life in the moment? And, there's that metaphor. For me, this spider that grabbed my attention. And as I was biking, I thought, oh, yikes, do I really want to go there? This is a gorgeous ride. Why can't I just set everything down and enjoy the ride and don't do self-analysis, etc. Just be. And that's when the metaphor hit me again. I can't enjoy this fabulous scenic ride of my life if I'm constantly worried about some spider moving in the corner. And so I thought, just take a little bit of time as I'm biking here to identify some of these spiders that are grabbing my attention and really interfering with my ability to focus on, what's in front of me. And immediately, two things come up for me that are the spiders, that are really drawing my attention. One was fear. Well, that's pretty obvious in the whole spider realm of things for me, but fear, as well as not enoughness. So when I was looking at my own disappointment in myself at not attaining what I felt I should have attained by now, I could label it as fear. Fear of what? Well, fear of disappointing others, fear of myself, fear of failing, fear of not figuring out what should be done next. And I thought these are deep patterns in me, old patterns from childhood that have extended into adulthood. And, I thought we all have fears, and sometimes they're just old messages. They don't have relevance to the current situation, but the fear's familiar. And that pathway of fear is familiar. So for me, fear is a spider. It's not quite hidden. It threatens my attitude toward my life direction and my life's purpose. And as I thought of that current practice and I'm trying to develop it, I consciously swept that spider aside in my mind, and I walked through all the successes and all the things that have been very productive in our practice as we started it this last year and a half, and how far it's come. And I just felt, gosh, I don't need to be looking at some old familiar fear spider. And then I looked at the other spider that grabbed my attention, that feeling of not enoughness. And I know that everybody has that feeling at times where it's like no matter what I do, it's not quite enough. It's not quite good enough or effective enough or productive enough, despite monumental efforts. And eventually that can lead towards that inner feeling of I'm not enough. And it often coexists with unrealistic expectations that we set for ourselves or that others have set for us. So I just sat with that as, not enoughness. That is a spider that kind of grabs my attention. And it's often like an emotional gut punch that happens. And it can paralyze me from taking actions, from focusing on what I can do. And so for me, I was able to take that metaphor and say, could I have done more in the last couple weeks, months? Not really. A lot of effort was put forth, and it was good effort. So could I take that not enoughness spider and just see it for what it was, distracting, and really pulling me away from reality? The reality was, you've put in good effort, things will evolve, but this not enoughness, that's not helpful. That's not a helpful attitude for me to have or be stuck in. Could I let that spider go? Could I sweep that not enoughness into the bag and discard it? I did that on my ride. And that power of metaphor, the spider was my teacher. It gave me some kind of insights that for me speak to me because I had the experience. Now, this may not resonate with someone else, and that's the uniqueness of metaphor, is that it comes from the person themselves, and that's where the meaning is. We often ask people in our sessions, give me a metaphor that represents where you are right now in your life, in whatever issue they might be, bringing up for coaching. And the metaphors are vast and very unique to the individual. Sometimes they surprise the individual. And it comes from that other part of our brain, that image part, that intuition part. And as we walk around in metaphor, it can really bring life to the process of, where do I need to go next? How do I need to step out of this, whether it's stuckness, whether it's an attitude that's not serving, etc. That metaphor can help us transform. For me, I'm going to be naming spiders. What is that thing that's distracting me from what I really want to attend to, which for me was a beautiful ride. And what do I need to do? What action do I need to take to get that spider out of my vehicle so that it's not distracting me? That's a metaphor that now speaks to me. We would be excited to explore metaphors in your own life as part of our coaching process with you. It's really kind of fun to delve into some of these and to see what comes up and to explore them and to see what insights that they generate. So if you're looking for coaching, we would be excited to have a conversation with you. You can visit our website, and our website is www.onpoint, the letter I, med.com. www.onpointimed.com. Fill out the coaching interest form, and we can call and have a conversation. Stay well, be well.